Okay guys, I wanted to go over the bottom bolts that hold in the stock radio. You can find plenty of videos out there on how to remove it that are in depth. But here I just want to show you that you can remove the bolts without removing any of the panels. You can remove the bottom right hand panel that's on the right hand side of the steering wheel. You can partially remove that at the top just to give you a little bit more leverage. You can get the bolt with ease. You might drop it as I did, but that's not a big issue because these bolts you won't be reusing them. And what I used was a long extension with a universal joint on it, and I believe it was a 10mm. And you can just get in there, and there's a panel. You can remove that panel with no problem if you wish, or you can partially remove it like I did. Just be careful when you push it back in place. Make sure it's aligned properly. And like I said, you can find videos out there on how to remove the radio that cover it in great detail. And on to the video.
Okay guys, so basically it looks like we just got to remove these tabs right here. Looks like 1, 2, three and 4, and yeah, that looks like about it. And then we got to get this guy out of here, which is this looks fairly simple. On each side you got two clips. Like you can squeeze this butt with your fingers. There you go. Squeeze it with your fingers, and boom. I don't know if you can see that right there. The other one came out in the car. And this one, yeah, it looks like it has 4 of them, smaller ones. 1, 2, 3, 4. But that one came out fairly easy. All right, I was actually using the wrong panel removal tool, because this one, the straight panel removal, is so much easier, because what you got to do is just stick it in there, twist, comes up, stick it in, twist, it comes up. See, like they're coming out really easy. And this last one, boom, that's it. So now they're labeled left and right. If you just close the door, it'll tell you, they'll both tell you left and right. So driver side, passenger side. So now what we have to do is we got to remove the AC controls from the unit. So it looks like it's only 4 screws that hold it in. And you know what? By all means, if you guys can find these items really cheap, like the vents, the hazard switch, the multifunction display button, and the AC controls, you would eliminate yourself from doing all of this, because then that way it's a complete full 100% swap. You just swap them in, swap them out. So once you're done removing these panels, you can put the screws back in, so that way you don't lose them. And voila, HVAC controls are out, old crappy radio out, and the new radio is going in. So remember to put it in the right fashion, which, yeah, it only goes in one way, so you don't have to worry about screwing it up. So it has an alignment thingy here, alignment peg or stud, and then just the 4 screws and you're in. Okay. And these are shelf tappers, by the way. So just enough to snug them down, like, I mean, just a hair. Once you feel the screw that it bottoms out and it gives you a good amount of resistance. That's all you have to do. Because the only thing it's gonna do is just hold it in place. All right, guys, so yeah, you know what? It looks like we have to modify. Looks like we had to modify like this little corner right here. I don't know if you can see, but this little edge right here will not allow the vent to click in all the way. I mean, it's just like a small modification that you have to do. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get my Dremel. Let me get my Dremel tool and chop away some of that excess right there. This is what I had to do. The only real modification you have to do, and I would highly recommend a Dremel, is that, for example, on the right hand side, I don't know if you can see that, but I had to trim it down just a little bit, just enough so that it can clear this little metal piece right here that's protecting the circuit board underneath. And that's on the right hand side, just a little bit, just enough to take it off. And I guess this would be a really nice time to invest into a rotary tool. I know Harbor Freight has them. You know, if you ain't got, you know, if you're on a budget. And but yeah, believe me, it'll get the job. It'll do the job perfectly for this. I trimmed back just enough of the plastic, really nothing to say that it was really modified in any way. I mean, it would even fit back on the factory unit. And yeah, dude, look at that. Trimmed back just a little bit. These are the very few times that you know, that you would have to modify, you know, when installing the radio, well, an Android unit. And yeah, so there it goes. It's trimmed back. That was on the right hand side. On the left side, I had to go a little bit deeper. I don't know if you can tell. I don't know if you could even tell there, but yeah, I just had to trim back just a little bit, but again, nothing too much. And really, you have no choice but to do this. And this is where I always say, the less you have to modify your vehicle, the better. You know, only in extreme cases like this, where you basically it won't fit. It just obviously won't fit, and it's not that big of a deal. Okay, so we're gonna put the vents back in, and this is the left-hand side. So you put you slide in the top clips first, then you align the bottom ones. They just snap into place. All right, I just finessed it a little bit more, got it in. They're in place, and as you can see, like a glove. Look at this top camera. Like a glove, guys, like a glove. All right, so now we just got to put in the multifunction display button and the hazard. Okay, I got some plastic on here. All right, so now looks like they're gonna go in this way. There we go. 1. And 2. And that's all there is to it, guys. So now, when you're working on your piece, just remember, I saw John Nugent, I hope that's how you pronounce his last name. He had some fractures, I forgot where it was, because you got to remember, this is not 100% OEM. I mean, it feels really good, but I still wouldn't trust it. So I think the weak points were right here, in the middle point where the circle thins out. So just be careful when you're handling this. Make sure that it's always on its side, or either face down, like I had it the entire time, or on its back like that. Never rest it like that because you can potentially break it. But it looks like the HVAC controls actually give it some reinforcement here. But still, like I said, just, you know, take your time. Don't rush.